I am so frightened by chat right now. I'm so
Chat is
frightened.
very terrifying. I mean, all you got to do is you scroll through and you can see exactly what's going on. So it's been 2 weeks and they just, it's all pent up. Look at this. Look at all this angst that's being just shared.
That's not angst. That's too
No.
highfalutin word for these people.
Yeah,
You call them people. We are talking about writers here for the most part.
this is very true.
We're not technically human.
Writing so easy, a Neanderthal could do it. A caveman could do it.
Matt says if I need to suit up, I choose my birthday suit. Just not looking forward to ironing out the wrinkles.
Yeah, sorry, they don't come out with irons.
No, I'm gonna let that one swing by. I'll just
we'll
let
just
that
hope
one
there's not a
go.
Christmas where Santa has to go along without his suit for the year.
Ooh.
Oh, 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 oh!
I think if Santa had a wing wong and he was naked running around Wales, I'm pretty sure it would shrink to the size of a walnut. Just
So
saying.
he's Saint Nick.
You know,
Oh, good Lord.
clearly it was just it wasn't even like a tiptoe or kind of just like an edging into After Dark. No, it was a running cannonball. And
Edging.
we are not even 2 minutes in.
Santa has a bottomless sack, apparently. Yeah, I know. I'm going to let that one swing by. After I said it, I was like, that is not the thing I meant to say.
That reminds
But,
me, I need to. I'll wait for After Dark. I'll wait till after the show. I'm gonna grab one of my post-its, make a note. I need to. There is a there's a Canadian clothing company that does clothes like in the style. So you know the Duluth Trading Company, how they do their commercials. Okay, it's like that, but with live models, and it's a little more. It's not as much suggestive as right in your face. And I see this because I watch hockey streams in French from.
In your face, Neil Armstrong.
So I'm going to make a note to find those for After Dark. So if you're wondering, hey, should I hang around for After Dark? Yes, hang around for After Dark so you see the strange and bizarre underwear commercials that I found in the middle of hockey games.
Oh, God.
Find the puck. Find the puck.
Go! Oh, wait, that's true for roughing.
I thought you were going to say something about Neil Armstrong's Saturn V, but I thought you didn't take the opportunity. I'm looking at Terry here. He had the
Didn't
opportunity.
have to. I was making a Martian quote.
Oh, right. Right. Correct. I missed the reference. I don't know how. After Dark will not be all about Santa erotica.
Oh,
That would
that's
have to
what
be-
you think.
That would have to be a December issue of After Dark.
Yes.
Because we have to read up on it now that you brought us that topic.
Oh,
Oh,
darn.
Lord. Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I am Paul E. Cooley. Joining me, as always, Veronica Jaguar and Mr. Terry Mixon. How the hell are you, folks? You look all rested and tanned and all of that stuff. You look like you had a really good week of sleep.
I'm afraid there was not much sun for me in Vegas.
Same.
Not-
The only reason there's a tan here is because there's a warm filter on my ring light. Only reason.
Wow.
I mean. But
Okay, fine. What the hell is going on with you? What have you been up to, Veronica?
let's see. Well, we'll talk about Vegas later. But I've been writing. I finished the raw audio record for Empire Reborn. I did not cry much. I always cry after books. But I recorded. I have the last line recorded. So literally the last line of the Empire of Bones saga as we know it. So that'll be going to the engineer probably next week.
Cool.
I have a bet with my daughter. So high school bowling season is over. And of course, that just means more bowling. She decided to partner up with the Mighty Ginger for the Adult Youth League because evidently she doesn't want to be embarrassed by my complete lack of bowling expertise. It would have been a great handicap, but I guess she didn't want that. So on bowling evenings, I have to come to the bowling alley, but I have to bring my laptop and I have to write.
Right.
And I have to sit there and work. So the goal is to finish that draft by the end of the year.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's doable. I did a better outline because I like outlines. It's just how my brain works. So I finished that up. I have a better path to go on. And again, stuff from Vegas that I'll touch on when we talk about. There were some good things that came to mind and made sense. I'm going to try and implement writing wise. I found out that I have a release date for the book that I'm co-authoring with Misty. And I found out because I got a really scammy email. The whole book club, we want to help promote your stuff. And my first thought was, why the hell are you emailing me? I'm like second listed. And then I thought, wait a second. I haven't shared links to this. I've only shown the cover to a handful of people. And I haven't put it like out wide. Oh crap, did I leak something? No, it's not leaked. I typed in the title. And the first thing that came up was the Simon & Schuster website. Because Bayan is using Simon & Schuster to distribute this book. Oh, which means my author bio is on the Simon & Schuster website.
Cool.
It's cool. It's freaking terrifying. And if there are, I'm sure there are others of the DRS community who have varying levels of anxiety, as I do. And I pretty much flipped out for a good half hour going, oh crap, I'm not ready for this. Oh no, what's going to happen? The book isn't even done. It's not even done. I've got to finish the last chapter and a half, but we're okay on that. What do I do? Nothing. I can't do anything. So I did reach out to Bayan again and ask about the audio stuff. They told me where they were going to have the audiobook done. And luckily I have a relationship with that group. So I reached out to folks there to say, hey, hi, you probably got an email from so-and-so at Bayan about this book that I'm co-authoring. I would really like to narrate it, please. And so hopefully I'll be able to make that happen. But
that'd be good. That'd be neat.
It would be really nice. I don't want to sit and cry, which is what'll happen because I don't want that. That's bucket list. That's like bucket list level for me. But other than that, recovering from travel.
Terry, what about you?
Well, first off, two things. V,
yes.
I sent something to you in the host channel.
Oh, jeez.
Which it's a good thing that you haven't sent anything off to engineering yet, because you may have missed that one.
Oh, okay.
And second, you need to send me a note about engineering costs so that I can go ahead and line your pocket with silver, as they say.
Oh, okay.
Dig out the credit card to make that happen.
Okay. It's on my list.
Because I still haven't got it up on ACX yet.
And that's
obviously it will not have prompted me for money at that point, so I need to go ahead and get you covered.
I just wanted to get the recording done and set aside so that the decks were cleared for the next project.
Mm-hmm. But since the recording is done, I can go ahead and get you the engineering costs that I need, but I need to know what they are.
Post it.
Thanks.
What was that laugh, V?
Depending upon where it shows up, anywhere from $500 to $2,000. So,
well, I'm going to hope that it's not $2,000.
No, the last
Being on the
one is like,
receiving end of that.
well, I joke that it's with certain like quick audiobooks are like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to VO things, and other stuff pays a lot more. And so doing stuff for commercials, for animation, a lot of those like quick, those quick short bits are actually worth a lot more. So that's my joke there for that.
Huh.
Yes.
Well, Terry, what else have you been doing?
Let's see. I got back from Author Nation and spent a couple of days flirting with the idea of getting sick, but didn't quite cross the line into it. Didn't actually go that way. And I slacked off, and I'll start writing tomorrow. I did a little bit of work, but I didn't do as much as I should have, and I'll dive back into the book tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I am still adjusting to life with Dash.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm not getting as much writing as I want to get done at all. So that kind of ticks me off. I'm going to have to fix that somehow, some way. And let's see, the Kill Shelter audiobook came out. So that's available as well as the book. So you can go hear my wonderful narration. Or most of you probably will if you want. You'll wait for the podcast in 5 weeks to kick off. But, spend some money on audiobooks. That'd be cool too. Anyway. So I'm glad that's off my off the shelf and out there, and all's good. I don't have anything in the kitty except for 3 books now that I still have to find covers and editors for. Life is so grand. So right now I'm still looking for. I've contacted one artist and I haven't heard back from them, and JR's given me a lead that I'll have to look at. There's just a lot of things going on, and there's not many people to do what I want to do. And now I'm getting to the point where it's like, do I just hire a firm to slap something together at this point? For $750 or whatever the price is to get something together. I just don't know what to do. I really don't. I'm tired of that. Really am tired of it. So 3 books not making me any money. That pisses me off. But it is what it is. I did get contacted by a grad student at St. Louis University who's writing their thesis on petro horror. Horror.
So oil-based horror. Am I parsing that out properly?
You're pretty much dead on the money.
I really hope they're mentioning Fern Gully in there.
I have no idea. Anyway, they were doing a search and found the black, and so they were asking a couple of questions about the order the books are in. Do the books cross each other at some point? And I was like, well, the first 3 are, yeah. So I had to explain all of that, and then she's like, if I really do this, that, and the other, I'd love to interview you for both academic and for this magazine that she does. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So cool.
We'll see what happens. She's probably going to look me up and go, wow, this guy's nuts. I'm out of here. Probably how this is going to work. Speaking of out of here.
I mean, that's really cool.
I thought it was pretty neat. It made my day. It made me want to get the last 2 books out really badly. So we're here to talk about dead bodies. Specifically, we're here to perform an autopsy on a convention. That is the dead body of which I speak. And it is dead because every year it gets buried. It comes to life, then it dies. It comes to life, and it dies. It's a zombie thing. That's how I think of conventions.
See, I thought I was like debrief, but sure. Autopsy in the vein of the show and the horror aspect, sure.
The horror aspect, I love it. So, kids, James, come on, really? Then she says, hey, I'll read this new Sakulina book. Yeah, that'll drive anybody off. How was Author Nation, guys?
Now, there's a lot of story to that.
There is.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Okay, so there were definitely changes from last year. For my part, last year I had a vendor table. Mm-hmm. And so they had Industry Day. So the Monday before, so there's Monday, that's Industry Day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the actual conference.
Right.
And then Friday is the reader event. They have rebranded and called it different things. Essentially, it is a day where they invite the public and authors can pay for a full table, half table. Publishers come in, they will have their authors there, they do signings, and often they will bring in bigger names to do signings. So last year, I had a table at Industry Day. I was there for all of the whole conference, and I was there, I think I was there almost all day for the reader event. This year, I could not afford a table as a vendor because based on the contacts I made the year before and other vendors and kind of the vibe of things, it did not seem like the best investment of my funds or my time. Because Industry Day, it's just me. Sometimes I can get the Mighty Ginger to come in and like hang around, help me out, smell me so I can go to the bathroom. A lot of the same challenges if you're ever at a conference with your books, you've got a table, same thing. So I did not pay for a table, and I think that went okay. I wound up walking through Industry Day, seeing the folks who were there. There's at least one other big name narrator who has a production studio who chose to not have a table either. And it was nice because folks who did have tables were still talking us up and saying, oh, we need to go find him. You need to go find her. This is what they do. Because that's just how narrators work. They had more than a few AI voice vendors. And
as James said, V is using her diplomacy voice does not bode well.
Yeah. I always volunteer because volunteering, it helps with the neurodivergent. It helps with the anxiety. I have to be in a room. I can't go hide. And it structures interactions. So I volunteered again. I like volunteering. I don't want to do anything that's going to potentially screw that up, hence the diplomacy. But yeah, there are definitely certain things that I disagree with. And one is the full open mouth embrace of AI voices. And that there are many people there who will frown on using AI to write things. They will frown on AI art. And yet, for whatever reason, AI voice is okay. Mm-hmm. And I find that to be a problem. What really got to me was that when they had all the booths set up, they had Pink Flamingo Productions. So Pink Flamingo, through their Fireside imprint, they put out the first book of the Black.
Yep.
I've worked with them. Oh, okay, second. Joe Hempel narrated those. And I've worked with them on several royalty share bits. I've done romance stuff for them through my pseudonym. And they are very vocal about being human voices only. They put them right next to spoken AI.
I knew that you were going to say that.
There should be a rumble. Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will put my money on Mike Johnson to take them down. He voices motorcycle romance and totally looks like he's going to kick somebody's ass. I will put my money on that man. Although he would have to get what's left from Sarah, who owns Pink Flamingo, because she was mad. She was definitely mad at the placement. And I don't blame her. I do not blame her.
Rowdy says, I recently listened to an AI narrated story and it was terrible. No emotion at all.
There you go. So I think that's my biggest issue. That it's like if someone has money and they are willing to pony up, it doesn't matter who, they'll happily take the money and give them a booth. And I find that troubling because I think that it is just as important to look at the craft of writing and the craft of publishing as it is the business. Because at some point, you need the craft to sustain your business. Yeah, you have to be a good business person. But if you aren't good at your craft, you're not going to have repeat customers.
Sure. And
word will get around that you cut corners and you're more interested in dollars than actually putting out quality. And people will not buy stuff.
As something that's slightly related to that, I had somebody share with me a thing on YouTube about electro swing, which was a music thing, and it was singing in music, and I shared it on the Discord and then found out afterward that it was AI generated. I'd have never guessed.
There are a handful. I know where we are. There are a handful of pharmaceutical commercials that they have a very kind of anime look to them, and they're AI generated, and it's an AI voice. And I can't stand them because you can look and tell immediately. And my husband was like, "How do you know that's AI?" I'm like, "Stop and listen. Listen to the inflections. Listen. Do you hear any breathing? Do you hear anything here?" That's, after a while, your brain checks out because it knows it's not human. He goes, "Oh, yeah." And of course, my daughter goes, "Wait, you can't tell? I can tell." I'm like,
well, you said, Terry, you couldn't tell, but you weren't looking for the tells
that
would tell you that.
I would have assumed that AI voice would have been more noticeable in a singing voice, and it was not. I was not looking for the tells, so I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Or hear it in this case.
Or hear it, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that the majority of the sessions that I volunteered at, because I like to volunteer in the main room. Mm-hmm. One, they usually have really good panels there. Two, the guys who run the sound and manage the video and cameras are super cool. And they're like convention roadies, and they are just absolutely delightful. So that was the main reason. It's like, I don't care who's actually talking. I just want to go see Tony and Marcello and Wayne and say, hey. I think the quality of those presentations was better because there weren't as many like trying to sell things. That was my biggest issue with the presentations the year prior. It was like 30 minutes of, here's a strategy you can use, and then 20 minutes of, and here's the product that's going to do it for you, and here's the special code you can get for being at Author Nation, et cetera, et cetera. And it was like, oh, really? But there was less of that. I did specifically not work the Amazon and KDP session because my face talks too much.
I'm glad I wasn't there for that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The questions would have been evil. I probably would have gotten tossed.
So,
Mr. Cooley, please leave. Your righteous indignation is just pissing people off. Okay.
that is a t-shirt. My righteous indignation may piss people off.
No, pisses people off.
You mean you have the face that can't hide anything like Dreamy has?
Dreamy? What is a dreamy? Oh,
I am not
Dreamy.
that cute.
His face does not hide anything. He has no hidden anything.
Yes, but he's adorable.
Listeners, you're missing cats. You're always missing cats. Always missing cats.
Yeah, if you were doing the drinking game before we started, you would have dropped dead before the show was even a quarter of the way finished.
Yeah. So what were some of your favorite panels, V?
There were... Darn it, my notebook's not even here. Can't even remember. My two favorites were one by an author named Diana Zarissa, and she writes cozy mysteries. And she is one of those like power through, like publishes 12 books a year, and her books are between 50 and 75,000 words. Okay. But what she does is she plans a year ahead. So she literally, whatever she spends, like, I think she said 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on how long the book is, writing the draft and powering through. She has about 5,000 words a day. And when she's done, wraps it up, puts it aside. And she's very basically outlined stuff. But it's a machine. She goes to the next book. And she's got a couple series going. So she alternates between series. And then by the time she gets to the middle of September, she's done with those drafts. And the rest of the year is spent on quick edits. And she does have admin days throughout those 9 months to deal with the publishing aspect of the books that she wrote the year before. So I liked it because it was a very workable structure, because you could scale it down to 6 books a year and then just reduce the daily word count. And it still left time for a lot of other things, because she straight up acknowledged she writes for 4 hours a day. And it's dedicated to that, but that gives her all of this other time to deal with admin, to deal with errands, to deal with family stuff. And so she doesn't feel pressured. And she knows that she doesn't have to get the book finished to be out in a month. She needs to get the draft finished so she can move on to the next book. And then once stuff is done, it's a well-oiled machine. It takes a while to do, obviously. But I liked the idea. I liked the process. And the way it was explained, it was relatable. And I think that was my biggest complaint about other panels. They keep bringing in people whose stories and paths to self-publishing are not relatable. And in addition to kind of pricing out newer authors with tickets and whatnot, by bringing in folks to have the different sessions, they need to be relatable. And if you can't see yourself in somebody, you're not going to connect. You're not going to use the story. And it's like, well, I can never do that. And then you check out. Another one that I liked was along the same lines. A gentleman by the name of Drew Strickland, who writes thrillers. He was talking about his process and going from running his family's dry cleaning business and writing on the side to being able to go into, writing full time. And again, relatable. Being very transparent about home duties, sharing duties between him and his spouse. and just it was easier. It was more relatable. I guess that's. There was another good piece of advice that came up in, I forget whose it was. J.D. Barker, who co-writes with James Patterson. They're the James Patterson keynote. We'll talk about that in a second. But he had a really good piece of advice if you're co-writing with someone, to have something in that same genre. So when someone sees that you've published, they go, okay, well, what else do you have?
Right.
So can you answer that? What else do you have? Do you have another outline? Do you have an outline in 3 chapters? Is that waiting that you could say, oh, well, I have this, and then move forward on it?
Gotcha.
So
that's a pretty good plan.
It like I said, it was the stuff that I liked. It was workable and relatable. I don't think I saw any panels that I vehemently disagreed with, but at the same time, I try to cultivate my calm. And if I didn't have to be in the room, I was out and about chatting with people who I liked.
Fair enough. Terry, what about you? Did you go to any panels?
I did not.
You didn't go to any panels?
Not a one. It's aimed a lot more at the beginning writer than it is at the experienced writer. If they want me to go to panels, they're going to have to go ahead and come up with something a bit more advanced. I'm sure there are aspects of things that I could have gone to and might have gotten something from, and it's all recorded, so I could go back and sort through it and take a look later.
Yeah.
But mainly I went to meet up with people and chat with people that I knew and meet other new people. I went to network. I didn't go to the conference. And
I was fairly sure that was going to be the case.
Frankly, I felt pretty meh about the event. A lot of the people that I had hoped to see there, well, a good number of them anyway, weren't there. The attendance, while it was up, it seemed not to be up for the people that I would normally, hook up with and meet up with. And so I don't know that this may be the first time that I felt that I didn't get my money's worth out of it.
That's unfortunate.
It is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I know that next year I've already made the decision not to go back. And it's not anything to do with the performance this year. My wife had a very difficult time with me being gone for a week. And she was having some health complications while I was gone that prevented her from being able to take care of the cat boxes the way they needed to be taken care of. So I'm a little uncomfortable with spending such an extended period of time away from home.
Yeah, I can see that.
But on the flip side of that, this will be the last year that the contract that Craig Martell signed with Bally's, now Horseshoe, is in effect. So beyond next year, it will be a new contract either with Bally or with Horseshoe or some other location, and I expect the prices to skyrocket.
Which brings us up.
We shall see whether
JR
or not
says,
it continues.
JR says that the price they charged, is it really aimed at noobs?
Apparently it was, because there were a lot of noobs there.
Yeah, it seems like it was like that when I went.
Now,
quite a few noobs.
One of the things that I saw that I don't know if V saw, somebody showed it to me, and I know I told you about it, is that next year they've changed the format of how they're doing things. This year they started out with Vendors Day on Monday, had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as class days, and Friday was Book Nation for the signings and whatnot. Next year, it's going to start on Tuesday. Nothing is going to happen on Monday. Tuesday is going to be Vendors Day with the keynote speaker at the end of Vendors Day.
What?
hang on, I'm not done yet. Only 2 days of classes, with Thursday evening being the start of Reader Nation, all day Friday and Saturday morning. So basically 1 full day and 2 partial days of Reader Nation, with the class stuff cut down by a third, basically.
At the same price.
At the same price. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how well that's going to go over either. Now,
yeah.
Wow.
They have Andy Weir signed to be the speaker next year, which is why I made the Martian reference earlier, since that's the author of such. And while it's tempting to want to go see that, I'm just not so sure that having my days of interfacing with other people cut down by a third is worth my time.
Makes sense.
I'm not sure who they're aiming at, but it's changing in ways that I don't think suit me.
Yeah, I can outgrow the con. That's kind of crazy. So tell me about this James Patterson keynote.
Well, it was done by video because he came down with COVID, and nice. I'm not going to blame somebody for coming down with an illness right before something happens. He had cancer in the last couple of years, and so he's definitely at risk for it was lung cancer. So he's definitely at risk of having more issues with it than everyone else. So I'm not going to condemn him for being sick, but it sure is going to be unfortunate for the people that paid extra money to hear him speak in person and to have books signed by him, because they had extra pay for that as well. Shipped in a bunch of books for him to sign, all of that nonsense, and it never happened. So that's going to be a big old black eye.
Yeah. Granted, I will say that it may have been, in terms of content and presentation, it may have been a blessing in disguise. Because what happened is they had him via Zoom, whatever, for a half an hour. And granted, I am not a James Patterson fan. I don't believe I've read any of his books. I checked out his new nonfic because it seems like the whole psychology thing, that's my jam. We'll see if it says anything new or novel, and if not, well, I won't be surprised. That's the problem with teaching that sort of stuff for 15 years. It takes a lot to surprise me. But the Mighty Ginger said it's probably COVID brain, with how he was rambling and going off on tangents. The man is 80 years old. But it was probably a good thing he was limited to 30 minutes, because not every question was answered. The moderator, who is one of his co-authors, struggled. It was definitely a challenge. And when it finally wrapped up, they switched to have a panel with a handful of other, I think, thriller authors to talk about their process and working with bigger names. So because everyone collaborated or worked, either they were the lead author and worked with somebody else, or they were the secondary author and worked with someone bigger. That was like I said, that was a silver lining, because they brought in an author who had 100+ books published. She had shown up to Author Nation because, oh yeah, other authors are going, this could be cool. Went into a thriller panel. Not on the panel, she's just in there talking. Goes up to ask a question, introduces herself, and all of the thriller authors are like, oh my gosh, it's you. And they were stunned that she was there and not on a panel. Mary Stone is her pseudo. She's been delightful. She was on the panel. She was very relatable. Really nice. I talked to her a bit after because she had people crying. Single mom, pretty much wrote to put food on the table. And there were others in the audience in similar situations and they were asking her how she did it. And that's what I mean about relatability. It's one thing to go from like script writing or screenplays to writing novels. Sure, because you have the contacts. You've been in a job that pays decently. You may or may not have a spouse that's able to support you, or be not either financially, or they are handling all of the house stuff and family stuff so that you can focus on what you're doing. But that's not the case for a lot of people. It's certainly not the case for a lot of women who are trying to get into and accelerate their writing careers. So to have her there and talk about that, she was delightful. My categories. And what keep me out. It's that or I need food. One of the two. So that was a silver lining. But wow, Joe was sweating. That he was really, really. It was improv to get things to fit in and work and wrap up. So.
Wow.
And Matt says sometimes just because someone is good at a particular job doesn't make them great at presenting that job and not so great on a panel or teaching the subject. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes.
Hopefully it was just COVID brain.
I would like to think that.
Or that, well, May is 80.
There's also that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shall see. I wish they wouldn't so heartily and immediately embrace AI voices. But I'm not a big enough name or have enough money to make them change that. So.
There is so much fucking money being spent on this shit. And so the market is actually not as large as they think it is. I think it's going to cause a serious problem for them. But, you know, they're like JR said, he got hit up to use Amazon's AI voice stuff for audiobooks. And I got that same mess. Wow. My dad's having a great day. Anyway, the hell was I saying? Thanks, Dad. When would they rebrand it to AI Nation then? The amount of money that's being spent on this stuff and the fact that you've got all these companies popping up. You've got Amazon trying to get all of us to use AI voice rather than have somebody record the audiobook. Which is funny because that actually is a conflict of interest for Audible. But then Audible's the one providing the open AI voice, which is really fucked up because they're competing against themselves for now until everything's AI. Because then they control it and you pay them money to get on their platform essentially at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly like James says. It's exactly like the dot-com boom. The internet was and is huge for money, but it's not there yet, right?
And it's arguable whether it will ever be there.
Well, you know, it can do some cool stuff. Some of it can. The problem is people wanted to do everything, and that's not what it's good for. It's very good for focused, very narrow tasks.
And I believe that is the right way for it to go. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Oh, yeah. So that stuff will still be there. But all the other bullshit that they're doing?
All of its creative stuff, it's going to poison its own well and be drawing from AI to create AI narrative type generation stuff. Generative AI for that sort of thing is just going to be a huge problem, and the quality is going to turn downhill before much longer, I bet.
Oh, yeah, it will. Antoine says, yeah, why get an AI narrator when I can hire someone with talent? Very true. Or you can do it your own damn self.
Oh, you can. You can invest in the equipment and do that, sure. Or you can work with someone and work on, profit sharing, royalty share.
Yep.
It's There are many better ways to honor the time and effort and craft of your work.
Agreed. Very much agreed. I mentioned my cover troubles, and somebody was like, "Why don't you just have an AI generate it?" I was like, I think they were just trying to goad me. It worked. You never heard my voice. I don't want the world to suffer. James. Matt says, I think it will eventually be there, but I think it will still need guidance. Like the way a music MIDI file is more than just the notes. It's volume, attack, pacing, tempo, etc. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the nuances that it's going to... I think the problem is the nuances are going to get lost, and I don't know how they're going to get that. Because nuance is something, it's spontaneous. Depending on context, depending on who's speaking, depending on this, that, and the other. It's the same thing with writing. I just don't think it's going to be smart enough to do that.
They're betting on novelty over nuance.
Oh, that's true too.
I think that's kind of the case. And
JR says, eventually, if you help AI get better, you will allow the programs to get better. Good enough that the reader at home will be able to generate their own books without you, the author. I disagree, because they're going to be reading AI slop. And they can't train the AI on anything right now, because here's the problem. They've run out of shit to train it with.
Ethically.
So they're already...
yeah. And no one is going to allow... At the price that should, how to put this, the price to license someone's work to be used to train AI is not a price that those companies or entities are willing to pay. Because there will be many zeros, many zeros.
If the author is writing AI slop, which people advocate for, then what would change? I think the quality will be so bad that it's just going to be cookie cutter shit more than likely, or it's just going to be bizarre. It could open up some new niche, and it probably already has, where people are like, I want to know what the AI is saying. It's not a fucking AI. It's not a fucking AI. It's doing never mind. It's doing verb calculus back there. There's just, I don't think it's going to have the same impact, and I think it's going to be disappointing. It's like people who do the AI generation stuff, they're missing the journey. They're missing the journey in starting something and bringing it to completion, and they're missing the journey of how to actually make each piece. Artists do that. Writers do that. Musicians do that. There are all these pieces that of the process and everything else that it can't do. It will never be able to do. Unless it becomes some kind of full SE, sentient entity, and then it can do all sorts of crazy shit. We ain't going to be there in my lifetime. Guarantee it.
And truly, once it becomes a sentient entity and is at that point and gets exposed to the idea that you should be paid for what you create, well, then there'll be problems.
Anyway, there are so many other things. I know we talk about AI all the time, but it seems to be always smacking us in the face with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we go. That's what I was wondering. Rowdy says, the AI stories I've listened to keep repeating scenes, and AI writes it differently the second time. I now believe AI wrote the Bible, since it also has 2 versions of several stories. It has more than 2 versions, Bubba. It has like 9 or 10. At least. Unless you go back to the source, it's all fucked up. Matt says, and if it ever becomes a sentient entity, will we want to consume what it wants to produce? That is another really good question. Mm-hmm. Who's it going to be writing for? And artists have intent, and AI can't have that. It doesn't understand the concept. LLMs, I should say. JR, don't make my day. He says maybe the interstellar comet 31/Atlas will bring the aliens and the singularity with them. Well, that would be interesting. We need some of that. We need a good smash. That'd be good. So, is there anything else you want to say about Author Nation?
Maybe it's worthwhile for some people. Maybe it will change in the years going forward, but I'm not optimistic in the ways that it is altering.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't see Rick Shaw in the chats because he was there and we hung out. But one thing that he pointed out was that with some of the presenters, a lot of them were the same people. So people who have either presented before or who are in the Author Nation leadership circle, and they may have presented multiple times. And since there were like 400, I think they said like 400 or so folks put in to present, that seemed interesting. So are you bringing in new voices?
Yeah, that's the kind of question.
Yeah. So like I said, the folks that I saw present were very good, but the ones that I really took stuff away from were new. So I hadn't seen them in previous years. And they presented a different and more relatable perspective. And I think the challenge is that when I say they, the folks who are putting things together, they are struggling to identify their audience. And one of the things that I've learned with my role as a director over at Pan Academy for the Narrators Association is that finding and keeping programming for your most experienced folks is one of the most difficult things to do, but it is one of the most essential things to do because nobody gets newer. Nobody loses experience. And if you don't grow with your people and you don't make and hold a space for people as they evolve and get better and start to bring them into the inner circle, you're going to have a problem. And you're going to stagnate and you will lose attendance.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I felt like Balticon not only got too expensive to go, but it also, like on the new media track, we weren't bringing in new people.
No.
And it stagnated and it kind of died. So I understand exactly what you mean by that because I've seen it happen, and I don't know how to prevent that from happening. Eventually, you get a click, and we seem to be welcoming and everything else, and we wish we were welcoming and hope we're welcoming, but that doesn't mean we always get that right. And I know when I first walked into Balticon, I was like, okay, these are all the big names, and I'm who? So it's very daunting at first to walk into something like that.
I was freaking terrified. I was freaking terrified. I'm always freaking terrified what you're not talking about.
Rick mentioned one attendee said that KU was going away, causing a panic. Did y'all see any of that?
I did not hear anything about that.
No.
I would be interested in hearing more if that's what they said.
Yeah, I doubt that KU is going away. There have been folks who are working to boycott Amazon, and many were taking that to boycott KU. But boycotting KU doesn't do anything to Amazon. It hurts authors who use it. And depending upon your genre, it is where people make a majority of their money.
One
Sci-fi
thing
especially.
that I mentioned, a while back on this show, that there's the possibility that Amazon will create a middle road where KU is available and Wide is also available, and they just pay less. Maybe somebody at Amazon said something like that. I don't know for sure, but if they did, that would be good news. It might be a way to put off some of the antitrust nonsense that is percolating through the system. Maybe they would have considered it.
JR says, Rick didn't say Amazon said it. He said that someone erroneously made that prediction from the presentations. Oh. Gotcha. Okay.
So Rick was just wrong That's what JR says. Wrong. I know that's not what JR said, but I'm going to lie about it.
We'll see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I would love to see Audible burn to the ground, but we can all have wishes and dreams.
Yeah, I know that Author Nation will have everything that they recorded, which I think was every presentation, they'll have available through their virtual ticket starting in January. And so I know I went through the app and I looked at things and flagged stuff that I may want to watch that I didn't get to see. But a lot of the presentations that I found interesting, folks posted their slides and I could pick stuff up off of that.
Okay.
So.
Gar says, did you see any promising new competition for Amazon or Audible there? Other platforms?
No. BookFunnel was there. They're always popular. Damon Courtney, who's their CEO, had some great presentations, and he is delightful. I think they're doing some more stuff with audio in a bit. I'm not sure what the details are, but I know, I think 2 years ago was when their audio stuff, the ability to deliver audio was in beta, and I think they're improving upon that. But yeah.
BookFunnel. I have that. There's
Yes.
all sorts of trouble. You buy audiobooks from BookFunnel already. Well, good for you, JR. Mm-hmm. I know Kobo, and there's somebody else who's actually trying to do something like ACX credits, and I can't remember who the hell it is now.
Libro FM.
Libro FM. Thank you.
They're awesome.
Thank you.
They were not there, but I know that they are awesome.
So that's going to be interesting to see if people can flock to that. It's really just a question of which authors are going to go. And that's really what it's going to be, is somebody big is going to have to just leave the platform. At least leave KDP. And be really snarky when they do it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Audiobook Guild has talked about doing a credit system for audiobooks. They're a niche publisher, though. Yeah.
I think that's the challenge, is you have to... The big thing that Audible and Amazon have going for them and KU is convenience.
Right. That is correct.
And it's easy. And
It's
people
stupid
don't want to
simple.
do things that are not easy.
Well, and they don't really trust a lot of other places. That's a whole mess.
True.
Well, folks, we babbled here for a while. We talked about AI and Author Nation and everything else, and y'all didn't bring up anything. Chat, for all the messy things you said in there, you really didn't have a point today. I'm just very disappointed. I thought with a week off, y'all would come in here with all sorts of things. Instead, you did nothing. You didn't do your homework. And here we are, closing up the hour.
There's stuff in the topics channel on Discord, so we'll have some things to pull from for later weeks.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Well, if you have a question or comment about this show, you can visit our website at deadrobotssociety.com, punch that comment button, and send us an email. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRSpodcast, where we are live every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST, except when we're not. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. And let's see, what else do I have to say? There's something else I have to say. Join our Discord. Join our Discord and join the other lunatics who are in here and chat, and they're even worse in the actual Discord. So you should come definitely check that out. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRSpodcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRSpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive live shows, like the one we got coming up in just about 10 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Antoine Batts, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. and we are just ending at an hour. Wow, it's amazing. So amazing. Okay, chat. We missed you. We did miss you. For all the shit I talked, we missed you. So anyway.
It's a lie. It's a total lie.
Okay, fine. I missed you. Terry didn't miss you.
Castor missed you.
Oh, God. With that, we are out of here. Patrons, we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.